See the eagerness on all the faces to know who would come after Mr. Sinhani and Mr. Sharma. And I can see disappointment on all now. Please don't worry, I am not that sales champion. The person I am going to request now, he is none other than our own president, who has done a commendable job in building his own brand. So definitely he deserves a round of applause. And Mr. Singhal for presidential comments.
Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to all of you present here. I would thank our distinguished past president, Mr. T.L. Sharma, for having come over and inaugurated this session. Sir, we are highly inspired by your presence and telling a success story to all the participants. He is the Managing Director of One Textiles Limited, and he is also associated with Confederation of Indian Industries. He is Vice Chairman of the Punjab State Council of CII. And you are also a guide to us at LMA every time. Thank you, sir, once again. I congratulate Mr. Sinhani, who is already a sales champion amongst us. When I say so, the management development program is usually within a band of 30 to 40 persons. He oversold the program, and now you are 86 of you sitting here. So we have a sales champion. We join our hands for an applause. He is maintaining once in a calendar quarter. Now he has a passion to bring in 3 programs during the next 6 months, and one from Ahmedabad. The one is on the family, and we are debating whether we bring a program for the startups where the money comes in from the angel investors right to the participants. So this is what we are talking about. So for Mr. D'Souza, I would like to share with you the profile of the sectors of the industries who are present here. The paper we have, bicycles, steel, textiles, real estate, exports of engineering products, FMCG, forgings, hand tools, hosiery, tires, farm parts, and education. So these are the sectors, the kind of variety we have, Mr. D'Souza, for you. And you please be ready, because the expectations of all the participants are very high, because once they go home, they're going to take back some ideas, and their sales is going to increase after this day, month after month. That is what we are expecting that is going to happen at the end of the day. The kind of selling which has happened for the program is with the support of Mr. Vadera and Mr. Sanjay Gupta and Mr. S.K. Singla. All of you have been able to sell this program so well. Now, regarding my experience sharing with you, since we are already very late, if you permit, can this happen at some other time? Mr. Vadera? Because we are already very late, and Mr. D'Souza is there to offer you the great ideas. So can it be some other time?
It's never too late, sir. You can always spare some time.
Okay, thank you very much. So when I ventured into exporting the components of bicycle, the immediate solution to every one of us looks to be, when you're wanting to export Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Malaysia, these countries you will approach because cost effective and very familiar products which you can sell. So when I did it, it was absolutely disinteresting. markets were totally overcrowded. So after doing my research, I thought of getting into markets which are non-English speaking. And you can imagine to take a risk at that point in time, to go to countries which were not heard in India, the name of those countries at that point in time, like Burkina Faso, Mali, Ivory Coast. These were the countries in the Francophone belt. They were not heard. The lead with which we could get was that when we participated in the exhibitions, the customers will come from all over, particularly when you go in Europe. In exhibitions, the customers come, and then you get a lead, and then we followed those leads. And we had a chance to go to those countries in Francophone and then in the Latin American countries. The first country in Latin America where we went was Argentina. He is a gentleman. Can you stand up, sir? Ashwini Kumar Garg. He is the first one to travel on behalf of the company to Argentina. He was 21 years of age. And mind you, he speaks Spanish far superior in quality than many Mexicans and Argentines. And I had a chance to go to Ivory Coast in the first stage. So that was a time when we could do the product adaptation and did some market research. That brought us profits which were good enough, and that gave us an opportunity to carry on the product adaptation. And by that model, we got a grant from World Bank to the Ministry of Commerce by the Government of India. And that gave us another boost, that our range of products was so large that it was right fit for those countries. And any product we will always pick up a new product, a new offering, and that made us keep working there for a long time. And the language barrier was always to be crossed. And then we took up another challenge to go for another non-English speaking countries for outsourcing our products, and that was China. So we went to China, outsourced our products. We have a couple of offices there. So now we buy from China, which is a non-English speaking country, and sell to those countries, which are again, apart from our other activities of manufacturing in India. That is what Kamal Vadera was talking. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share with the participants. So I wish you a great day, and please ensure that you increase your sales month after month after meeting Mr. Thank you.
So thank you to the Ludhiana Management Association for having me here. It's my pleasure being here with you this morning. And thank you, sir, for all your kindness and hospitality. Be here with you this morning. In fact, I was so terribly impressed. I almost chickened out. Mr. Sinwani has oversold this program, and he's left the baby in my hands, because now I've got to fulfill his promises. And I'm sure that's going to be a tough ask. But I promise you, Mr. Sinwani, I'll try. You see, most of us people in management, we have a principle for getting up the ladder. The principle is, take a simple idea and complicate it to such an extent that everyone's confused. And then you become the champion because you have created the ideas. In the process, simple ideas and things have become so complicated that we forget where they even started to begin with. And I think that's the problem with sales. But everyone's told them their own life story, so let me tell you mine. I began my career as a management trainee, and my first job was to sell nuts and bolts. And believe you me, if you can manage to do that, because the job entailed crawling under trucks, explaining to truck drivers, most of them from Punjab, how important their hub bolts were. And I tell you, at the end of that experience, I learned so much from them that I gave up selling nuts and bolts. In fact, you see, there's something called a hub bolt. And a hub bolt is something that attaches the tire to the hub. And through all my years of salesmanship, I discovered that there was a special requirement for what we call extra long hub bolts. So, you see, the company I worked for was a company called Unbreako Precision Fasteners Limited, selling hub bolts. We used to manufacture two types of hub bolts, the standard variety and the extra long variety. I never knew why we made extra long hub bolts, but I was told that, listen, all these truck drivers demand extra long. So we sold it, and we sold 10 times more extra long hub bolts than we sold normal hub bolts. And I was one day in an exhibition stall in Pune when a frail, small, short, elderly gentleman walked into my stall, very plainly dressed in white khadi shirt and white trousers, sandals, and he was so simple and so humble, I didn't recognize him. And he pointed out to one of those extra long hub bolts and he said, "What are those?" I said, "Sir, those are hub bolts." He says, "But they look a little awkward." I said, "Sir, those are extra long hub bolts." He says, "Who made them?" I said, "We did." "Are they to company specifications?" I said, "No, sir. They're to customer specifications." And then he sat me down and he gave me a long lecture about why we shouldn't be doing these things. He says, "You know why these are extra long?" I said, "No, sir." He says, "Because the truck drivers," or rather he asked me the question and I had to explain to him why they put extra long. I said, "The truck drivers need to put a plate in between two tires at the back, so that when they overload the trucks, the tires don't touch each other, so that they don't get worn out. So we give them extra long hub bolts that accommodate the distance for the plate." And finally, when he left the store, he had given me a long lecture on how we are endangering the lives of people by creating these products, etc., etc. Finally, I said, "Sir, can I know who you are?" He said, "Well, it doesn't matter." I said, "No, I insist. So please put your name down on the visitor book." And he signed there, Pinodia. He was the one who person behind the Bajaj Tempo and F. You see there, it was Mr. Pinodia himself. And I learned there are two ways of selling products. One, you sell a product that someone made in a factory, and two, you sell a product that the market demands. And believe you me, it's much simpler selling products that markets demand than selling products made in a factory. So today I'm here to sell a product created by Mr. Sindhwani, but I'm going to turn it around and hope to make it a product that you gentlemen and ladies would like to know about and demand. Okay? Become an unstoppable sales champion. When I was getting ready to put this program together, I went scouting for mnemonics to put up a sales champion. I came up with Superman. You know who this guy is? The actor? He's someone called Brendan Root. Well, you see, there's a problem with Superman. There have been quite a few in the past, including Christopher Reeves and a few others. But now in Hollywood, no one wants to be Superman. Do you know why? You know why? There's some sort of a legend that has grown that whoever becomes Superman, he dies early. So no one wants to become Superman. In fact, Christopher Reeves was very ill. He was paralyzed and he was in a wheelchair for many years. I don't know whether he's still alive. But finally they managed to force somebody to take up the role. So this is Brendan Root, and he's good looking and he's tough and he's still alive. But I thought, how strange. Just like salespeople, nobody wants to be a salesman. Why? Because it's a killer of a job. It's back-breaking, it's a thankless job, and, well, nobody really appreciates the work you do. So I said, why not take Superman as my mnemonic and put him up there, because maybe we'll get inspired from him. But before we begin this whole business about becoming sales champion, let me first clarify a few concepts. You see, when Mr. Singhal was talking about his cycles, before I entered this, as I entered this hall a while ago, he had asked me a simple question. He said, "Have you ever ridden a cycle before?" And you know, that brought back very fond memories of my childhood, when my father had gifted me a rally. It was an English rally, spelled as R-A-L-E-I-T-H. And I remember once meeting with a small accident. I was riding to school, and I was late for school, so I was riding at top speed. And I was down a slope, and in the opposite direction, we had this milkman on a cycle. And he was riding an Indian cycle. I won't name the brand. But we crashed into each other. And what